Hey there, let's talk shipment a little bit. I saw a couple of people asking for thoughts on this shipment, maybe some tips. I thought it didn't feel like enough for a video, but what is my problem with that? Who cares? One small housekeeping item may as well mention, I've added notes to the camo sheet with all the attachment combos you need if you were wanting that. Thank you, Turl, for helping fill in what I was missing. I originally thought I didn't want to do that because they seemed very subject to change, and there are several bugs. I didn't want to be giving the wrong info when things change. It's tough to stay on top of when I don't have all the guns maxed myself, and you can just check in-game when setting up your gun. That's all still kind of true, but it is nicer than I expected to have it on another monitor while setting up a gun instead of tabbing back and forth, or even to swap attachments mid-game. I've just put in a disclaimer to say it's possible they may be out of date, always good to check in-game. Well, if you care about that, feel free to check out the template again. Shipment. Is this a good one? I mean, I like that the containers are angled again to not see directly corner to corner, and to have a couple more safer spawn options, ostensibly. And I also like the visuals, the nice beachy, bright but not too bright theme, sort of like COD World War II. It's pleasant, but that's about where the positives end. The core issue being, of course, the horrendous spawn logic. I don't have to rant about this because they did actually mention it. It made their list of laughably bad things, which is good, but it's still pretty funny to talk about. Spawns might be my biggest issue with the gameplay of this game, because I can go with the flow when it comes to the not so competitive, everything is OP, gunsmith design and things like that. Whatever, casual game. But yeah, I know going in, the spawns in this game were clearly exhibiting some of Modern Warfare's trademarked whack-ass spawn logic. It feels very similar to me. I saw one person say that these spawns suck, and they need to make them more like Modern Warfare. And I've never gone from agreeing to disagreeing so fast. Modern Warfare introduced this same problem. They made some improvements over time, like I know is often the case with tuning spawns, but I never remember it getting good, just different. What I'm mainly referring to is how, for some reason, spawning right next to enemies and in direct line of sight is seemingly not very high on the priority list for picking a spawn at all. In pre-2019 games, I feel like seeing someone spawn accidentally was a rarity. You'd have to have a team orchestrating an elaborate spawn trap, or be head glitching some glitchy geometry, or shooting through a wall to get people as they spawn. Now, you can just stand right next to them, and that's fine. For Dom last weekend, if you have one Dom flag, you are going to spawn near that flag no matter what, it seems. Never in a safer container on the side of the map, no flipping to a more freed up corner, just literally alternating between two spawn points. Here in this guy's fire, in the corner. In the fire, in the corner. And it isn't like that's a rare case. It's not a spawn trap that took coordination from the enemy team to set up, where there are people blocking off other spawn points. No, as tiny as it is, there are better spots on the map to spawn that the game isn't considering. I can show being on the other side of it, so you know I'm not being salty about getting stuck in bad games. This is stupid. It becomes a game of, if you're on the stronger team, you get to run into the enemy spawn and see how long you can sit in it. So people just quit. And they should, because this is dumb. None of these are one-off examples of rare spawn traps. This is just POV, you are playing shipment, and one team is stronger than the other. I can sit in this corner knowing they will continue to spawn here indefinitely. I'm the spawn picker. I think I should spawn you near the flag that you own, and let's alternate between these two spots. Are you forgetting anything else there? Maybe check for enemy? No, I don't think so. This seems good. Now, there's always going to be the guy who says, it's shipment, it's supposed to be chaos. Well, this isn't fast action, this is a joke. I'm not saying Frag Times 3 was balanced either. I always go back to reference World War II Shipment, because I played it to level 1000. Shipment can have flow. It can actually resemble gameplay, and this does not. Like, I remember one big shipment spawn trap in that game where a team would position themselves in certain spots around the map to have line of sight in all the crates and corners, and someone would prone with a Lewis and fire into the spawn crate through the wall. I only ever ran into one team pulling that off, and I think they mostly fixed it by making that crate not bangable. This absurdity of it being common to spawn right next to people, behind people, was introduced in 2019 and feels fully copied over to this game. It can happen on other maps too, it's just the most obvious on the smallest ones, but the spawns in general I know people find frustrating for one reason or another. I guess you gotta run forward intel now to understand what the heck is going on with them. Now I know I was mainly talking about Dom, which is maybe why they seemingly removed it for the second coming of Shiphouse, but in TDM, which is also annoying because it ends too fast, The spawns aren't better, they're just more random. So you trade the problem of the no setup spawn trap for just nonsensically spawning right next to people all the time. The core problem doesn't change. Why did I spawn in what is clearly the enemy controlled corner here? They need to be able to trust that this is their corner so that they can defend it and push out towards one of the other two corners to attack our side. That's kind of how Shipment works, fighting to your left, right, and middle, rapidly taking and losing some ground, very high action, but very simple, and that goes out the window when you spawn all over the place for no reason. When you spawn in a crate, now it's better to walk backwards so that the enemy who's going to be spawning there directly after you doesn't get a free execution. Ah, there you go, this is my team's corner, this is where I should have been spawning. Yeah, I could talk and show examples forever, but there is no point in that. If you've played a good handful of games, you know all this. Ultimately, yes, it is a chaos map, and if your only goal is to get kills, then it serves that purpose, unless you get stuck in a one-sided lobby. It just sucks when I know the map can work and have a semblance of gameplay. I could even understand if you prefer this type of total unpredictable chaos because you want to be flipping a coin for some random kills and deaths from dumb spawns. And to some extent, you can get used to the nonsense spawns if you expect them. Check every spawn non-stop. Never have any trust that someone won't pop in behind you because they will. But yeah, I prefer the game making a bit more controlled sense. And it can, even with the pace of Shipment. I'm totally ignorant to the complexity of a spawn algorithm, but it seems so absurd from my point of view. Spawning away from enemies seems like it should be the top priority. I wish they'd ditch this trash-ass spawn logic and never return. Go back to 2017, please. I know they mentioned being aware of Shipment spawns as a problem, but I can't help but not have a ton of hope when Modern Warfare's version only got marginally better over the year, and I doubt they're planning a full spawn overhaul. Well, moving on, I know there's also how you can climb on everything now, which I haven't even mentioned yet. I know that can contribute to there being fewer safe places to spawn. People can stand on top of things and see more of the map. I get it, but I promise you that is not the root cause here. In some games, nobody even bothers climbing anything. We all just stay on the ground. I don't even entirely mind the climbing stuff. It does mess with the flow, especially the cheesy leaving the map stuff to flank. I think they should have just put up the invisible walls, but you could even argue for the climbing, because that does help more easily counter the LMG head glitching on a Jeep tactic that was an old dominant way to play. I feel like I don't have a big problem with the climbing. It's the spawns, man. I'd be interested to see how it played with the climbing, but the COD World War II spawns. See if that would hold up at all. Some of the perks in this game also don't help the situation, IMO. Piercing vision is always going to be dumb to me. It seems like the obvious pick here. There are plenty of good radar perks in Tier 2, but I don't really check my radar for Shipment. A lot of the map is easy to punch through. You add on some bullet pen attachments. Wall hacks are busted, but it's honestly not even about shooting through walls for me. It's actually so damn powerful to easily highlight enemies that you hit or suppress, to then see them through smoke and gas, and all the nonsense that gets kicked up by bombing streaks and thermite. It's genuinely cheating. If you hate me for mentioning that perk, I mean, 1, it wasn't a secret, but 2, just run Dauntless. It counters the suppression effect, which means it counters piercing vision. So this is basically all I run. I guess if everyone runs both of these, then they cancel out, and we're all good. I'd love to swap to Cold-Blooded mid-match if it protected me from dogs, but it seems like that doesn't work. And then there's Overkill, the out-of-place Tier 3 to me. I don't see how the rest of Tier 3 compares, mainly for the annoying turtle time with the shield. Again, I'd support banning the shield from Overkill, screw it. Like, do I want to move a bit faster, or be hard to shoot from behind? And you get some free XP from crowd control assists on top. If you hate me for mentioning that, I mean, again, not a secret, but allow me to suggest a less annoying alternative for the weapon grinders out there. Oftentimes, I'm using Overkill not for the shield. One reason being what I've mentioned a few times before, getting the first 4 kills with an easy gun, then the 5th with something like a sniper to more easily get through the Bloodthirsty challenge. But another thing I do is just run 2 guns to help out anything with a crappy reload. A handful of things aren't great before unlocking an attachment to help with it, like the revolving shotgun. Your 5 shots are gone, you get your 1 to 3 kills, you are never reloading that on Shipment, and even if you could, what a waste of time. You gotta just die to use it again. So I run that as a primary, blow that load, and then swap to a second gun to use until I die. Never waste time with terrible reloads. So there you go, an alternative to the scummy shield. How about a final thing? The streak spam. Yuck. I think the streaks are pretty rough this year when it comes to shipment, plus whatever bug allows you to loop them right now, I think. The flame knot is stupid broken with the spawn trapping, and really good in general because there's nowhere on the map to get far enough away from the flames. Dogs are similarly stupid annoying, just stick around for way too long, hard to counter, so much health. The artillery barrage thing goes for way too long, truly obnoxious. Even on bigger maps, I think it blocks an area for far too long. Very lethal too. I also hate how the strike indicator on the minimap can go away in between each individual mortar, so you can sometimes think it's over, and then half a second later, oh, there's still another one coming. I liked the permanent circle, like in COD World War II. Anyway, I know I'm partially biased here because I don't run any streaks, just radar stuff that usually isn't even worth calling in. It's the least I can do to atone for some shield usage and piercing vision, but yeah, I'm really only interested in weapon kills from shipment, and god, those streaks do not mesh well with the spawns. I would love a shipment playlist where streaks are banned, or for them to add the specialist perk streaks at least. I'd love to be running that instead. Well, that's Vanguard Shipment for you. I think it's nice visually and the containers are angled again. Other than that, I find the spawns to be a disaster as expected. Hopefully that can be improved. Probably not by a ton, but something. Of course, you don't have to play it, but it is obviously great for challenges if that is your main goal. It could be greater if there were ever a hardcore version one of these times. But yeah, basically every challenge except long shots, made easy. Ah, there's another pro tip. Easy bullet pen kills through the unbreakable Jeep windshield. Don't even need the wall hack cheese. Alright, that's all. This got kinda long. Can joke about those spawns for hours. And I was gonna try to tack these shipment thoughts onto the end of the decoy thing. Yeah, no, maybe keep the info videos shorter so they look more concise. Glad I kept the rambling off to itself. Just gonna get the one person who complains about stretching past 10 minutes anyway. First of all, it's 8 minutes to add a mid-roll now. And second, it doesn't help me because I don't place them anyway, only ever if I'm currently talking about them. Yeah, I just have a lot to say sometimes. In fact, talking this much surely just reduces my watch retention and hurts the video. Oh no. Well, thanks for watching anyway. Why are you still here? I'll catch you next time.